What is going on, everyone, and welcome back. So today in this video I'm going to be going over the two types of do-it-yourself back paddle kits for the PS5 controller. We have the EXTREMRate 4 paddles and also the Tomsin 4 paddle kit. I'm going to go over the products and the installation kits themselves as far as quality, the installation process, as well as my personal experience for the pros and cons of each one. So if you're in the market of getting a kit like this and installing it yourself, I hope this video could help you make the best decision based on your gaming style. I'll leave a link down below for each of these kits, so make sure you guys check it out. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. You guys really do help me out to grow this channel. And thank you for everyone. I just hit the 5,000 subscriber mark. Now, enough of me talking, let's get started. So here we have the EXTREMRate and this is the Tomsin. So let's take a quick look and see what you get in each of the kits. With the EXTREMRate, you do have the option to get the rubberized grip, which is very nice, especially for the long gameplay. Your hands can get sweaty. With the Tomsin, you just get the flat one, the matte finish. So this is a plus. So with the Tomsin, you get two sets of the ribbon cables for the controller, depending on what generation you have. If you have the 010, you would just use this kit. And if you have the 020, you would just use this kit. Now with the EXTREMRate, it's a little bit different. You only get one set of the ribbon cables, and you would need to make the necessary cuts based on the generation you have. I think with Tomsin, it's a plus. You just have two different ribbon cables, so whatever controller you have, you just use that one and toss the other one out. With the EXTREMRate, you have to make some cuts, and what I'm worried about, which happened to me in the past, if you make an incorrect cut or if you cut it the wrong way, you basically can't continue with your installation and you have to contact them to get a new set of ribbon cables. So I just think with Tomsin, having the two different types already installed is just a little bit easier. And here we have the little PCB board that goes in the back of the controller, as well as the strip that you would connect the ribbon cables from the triggers to from the EXTREMRate. And it's the same thing with the Tomsin. They're just built a little bit different quality, but it's the same concept. Both of the kits come with the buttons. As far as the hardware tools, I think Tomsin is a plus on this one. They give you much more sturdier and more durable hardware tools, such as the screwdriver, and this prime tool is even much more durable compared to the EXTREMRate, which is a little bit more flimsy, and it's just a basic screwdriver, where with the Tomsin you can see it has this turning mechanism and a better grip. So much better hardware tools on the Tomsin kit. So here I have two BDM010 first gen controllers, and I'm just going to do a quick comparison and show you how each kit installs. So if we look at this back shell, you see the UKCA logo. This is only on the 020 controller. As you can see, both 010 controllers I have here, this UKCA logo is not there. There's also other ways to check which generation you have by looking inside the trigger. I think it's just a little bit more complicated, and this is a more simple way. So this video is not a full installation guide. I'm just going to run through some of the installations to compare each of the kits. If you want a comprehensive installation guide, just check out my channel. I do have an installation guide on how to install the Tomsin and the EXTREMRate paddles. So once we have our controller disassembled to this stage, we're going to lift up the motherboards on each one of them, and we're going to install this flux cable on here. And once that part is on, we could go ahead and put this back. Now once this strip is installed, we could put this back together, put these ribbon cables back inside, and now we're going to install our extended ribbon cables. Now for the EXTREMRate, as I mentioned before, we're going to make some cuts. Since my controller is a BDM010, we're going to cut off the BDM020. Now we install it in here. And we do the same thing on this side. For the Tomsin, we just get the one that says BDM010 and they're already pre-cut. We're moving along, not too hard yet, right? So in this stage, we could go ahead and insert back our battery brackets. Just one thing to note, when you're installing these ribbon cables, make sure that you insert them quite well inside and they're nice and sturdy. What tends to happen sometimes if the controller is moving around or if it drops, one of these ribbon cables could come loose, and if that happens, your paddles will not work. Now our next step is to take this sticker peeler off here and stick it on the side of the battery. So we're going to do that with the eXtremRate, and we're also going to do the same thing with the Tomsin kit. And the next step is pretty simple. We take these ribbon cables that are attached to the trigger and we're going to install it into this terminal. So now we're going to connect these little back brackets to the back of the shells of the controllers that came with the kit with the little screws that were provided. Okay guys, so once these brackets are installed on the back case, we could start assembling the paddles. So the paddles for the eXtremRate, we're just going to install one at a time. We're going to put this rod inside the paddle here, and that's just going to snap on here where it says K1. And we're going to do the same to the other one. Make sure the rod is in there, and then align it, snap it on. Now for the Tomsin, it's a little bit different. We have this much longer rod, and we're going to insert both paddles at the same time. And we're going to attach it to the back bracket. On the eXtremRate and the Tomsin, we could go ahead and start assembling the controllers back together. We're just going to take this long one and try to insert it into the hole here. Okay. Just make sure everything is aligned. And we want to get a clicky sound. Pins are good. Here's good. So this is what we want. So next part is the boards for each controller, eXtremRate, and for the Tomsin. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up here and we're going to try to get this inside. Once inside, we lock it in, and we're going to do the same to the eXtremRate. Lock it in. And the last two paddles come in here at the end. So we're going to take the bracket that closes that lid, and these are the other two paddles. They get inserted right here. Just like that. And the power button goes in here. And the last piece of the puzzle is this LED button that's going to go on top here. So once we have everything here, going to get it. Start from the top, lock it in. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All buttons here. And for the Tomsin, it's a little bit easier. We'll just put it on top, click it in, finish up with these buttons here. We have the turbo mode. I'll go over that in a second. And the S for standard. There we go. Now that we have both of the paddles installed on the controllers and everything is assembled back together, the next step is to map the buttons to the back paddles. And I think the eXtremRate does a pretty fair job on this. It's a little bit more easier, so we're going to go ahead and start with that. So to map the eXtremRate, it's very simple. You simply hold this button until the red LED light goes on. Then once it's on, we're simply going to push the button and the paddle that we want to map. So we're going to do this paddle and O. Okay, so the button flashed slowly. That means it wasn't synced together at the same time. Let's try it again. O in this pedal. So once it blinks fast, that means it mapped. So this pedal will do X. Once it's synced, we're just going to hold this till the red button goes off. And now it's mapped. Now for the Tomsin paddles, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's not that hard. First, what we're going to do is we're going to push the S, which is standard, and the P3. So let's map the P3 button first. We're going to push the S and P3. Once that red light goes on, we're going to push the paddle that we want to map it to. So let's map it to X. Once we push the X, we're going to hold the S. So now that paddle is mapped to X. So now we're going to do the P1. So P1 and S. So which paddle we want to map? That will do square. So we push square and back. Now we put and hold S. So the cool thing with the Tomsin, it has a turbo mode. So what's the turbo mode? Well, turbo mode is basically a mode that you map the paddle and it spams the paddle. So if you're to ever play a fighting game and you like to kick, so the only thing you want to do is kick the person. So instead of pushing it like this, you would go and you would, so let's P4. So we're going to push turbo and P4. And we're going to kick, say X is the kick button. So P4 now is the kick, and we hit the turbo. So now, once we push and hold this, it's going to spam kick button. So that's how you pair the Tomsin controller. So for the Tomsin, it doesn't have a grip, but it still feels pretty smooth. It may take you a little while to get used to the paddles. So what I've noticed with the Tomsin, and this is just at the beginning, is that since these buttons are kind of close together, aligned, so when you're holding the controller like this, sometimes when you might accidentally have those pushes. Now with the eXtremRate, I don't really have that problem, just because when I'm playing, my buttons are aligned here. And if I want to use the other paddle, I'll just lift my finger and like this to push the fourth and third button. Compared to the Tomsin, it's just, you might accidentally have that push. So the Tomsin paddles do click a little bit louder. So if you're playing and there's someone else in the room, it can get annoying. So let's do a little comparison on the sound. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just something to point out. So overall, as the feel, I would definitely go with the eXtremRate. They just have this more smoother feel to them and look. The rubberized grip is also a plus. So the Rise 4 plastic back paddles retail on Amazon for $45. The metal version, I believe, goes for $52.99. compared to the Tomsin, which are at $32.99 on Amazon. So this is more of a bargain deal, but you do get the grip and the better button layout with the eXtremRate, in my opinion. As of right now, the Tomsin have two colors. They have the black version and they also have the white version. eXtremRate has a lot of different variety of different paddles and different colors, such as this gold one, also option for two paddles. And if you're shopping with eXtremRate, you have a lot of different customizations, including different types of face plates. You could also install clicky hair triggers. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Either way, I don't have anything bad to say about any of the controllers because they will both work great. I play a first-person shooter, mostly Warzone, with these controllers, and I've used the eXtremRate for over a year now, and I've used the Tomsin for around 2.5 months. If you're in the budget, get the Tomsin. If you're willing to pay a little bit more, get the eXtremRate. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And make sure you guys check out my channel, and the videos on how to install both of the paddles. I go over everything from A to Z. That way you can get your controller set up and enjoy gaming. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.